Dear friends, I am Dr. Seema Dhawan from Department of Education, HNB Garhwal University, Srinagar, Uttarakhand. Today we will discuss inquiry approach in science. Science is systematic and comprehensive investigation and exploration of nature's cause and effect. It is a systematic knowledge about the natural world based on facts learned through experiments and observation. It means science is systematic in nature and experiments and observation are very important for gaining knowledge. Science teaching should include a wide spectrum of learning approaches depending upon the nature of the material to be taught. Scientific inquiry refers to the diverse ways in which scientists study the natural world and propose explanations based on the evidences derived from their work. Inquiry is one of the approach to teaching science. Science teachers generally like the inquiry process. Inquiry based learning is an approach to learning in which students' role is very significant. You all will agree that all hands-on is not inquiry and not all inquiry is hands-on. The inquiry approach is more focused on the process of learning and the development of skills among the students. It is a process of teaching and learning which emphasizes active involvement of students in acquiring knowledge or skill. It targets 8 science process skills that all students are expected to master in science classroom, and these skills are to observe, to experiment, to collaborate, to measure, classify, to compare, to record and to analyze, and also to share or reflect. Inquiry is a general term for the processes by which scientific knowledge is developed. It is actually a state of mind of inquisitiveness or curiosity. It is the process of seeking truth, information or knowledge. Seeking information by questioning. Students learn to ask questions, gather appropriate evidences and use those evidence to support their conclusion or evaluation. What is inquiry approach in science? It is an investigative approach of teaching and learning where teachers provide opportunities to the student to investigate, to search any problem in a scientific way in a systematic manner. The process of exploring the natural world that leads to asking questions and making discoveries in the search of new understanding, new knowledge or new skill. It is very constructive in nature and student driven way of teaching and learning where students are encouraged to explore, to explain, to investigate and to discuss the topics based on curiosity to increase their understanding and construct new knowledge on the basis of their past experiences. Engaging in inquiry helps the students to develop an understanding of science concept, an appreciation of how we know what we know in science, and also an understanding of the nature of science. What is science? What is natural world? How the things interact, and also to develop the skill necessary to become independent inquirers. It develops the skill of the habit to inquire, to know the things. It also helps to develop dispositions to use the skills and the abilities and attitude associated with science, the natural world. Now, what is the purpose of inquiry approach? To make the students focused and connected. It emphasizes the student's role in the learning process and helps them to make their own connections about what they learn. Students are encouraged to explore the material, ask the question, share their ideas and reflect on. One of the purposes is to raise the curiosity and the desire to learn among the students. It involves a process of exploring the natural world that leads to asking questions and making discoveries in the search of new knowledge and understandings. Students are motivated to ask question and show their desire to do something innovative or new. One of the purpose is to construct the knowledge. As the students are more involved in this process or in the construction of knowledge, there through active involvement, they construct their own knowledge on the basis of their past experiences and their knowledge. Inquiry teaching honors previous experiences and knowledge to construct new knowledge, new concept or new skills. It depends upon the learning experiences of the students to develop problem solving and critical thinking skills. This system is more student centered with the teacher as a facilitator of learning. The individuals are able to learn by investigating the scenario or the problems and through social experiences. They explore the problem in natural settings, they collect the evidences, they discuss among themselves and then evaluate to conclude. Its purpose is to deepen the understanding of the student. Their curiosity helps them engage and gain a deeper understanding of the content of the topic or of the problem. There are some features of science inquiry, which include learner engages in scientifically oriented questions. They are engaged, they are involved in the questions which are from the natural world, the natural settings. Learners gives priority to evidence in responding to question. They collect the evidences related to that problem and they conclude on the basis of the evidences they collect on that particular problem. They formulate explanations from that evidences they collect and also they connect the explanation to the scientific knowledge. They also explain the relationship between those concepts and the learner communicates the conclusion and also justifies the explanations. What is the inquiry process? In this process, learning is grounded in inquiry, in asking the question, in knowing the facts. An inquiry is the process that has the aim of augmenting knowledge, resolving doubts and solving a problem. The inquiry cycle engages students to ask and answer questions on the basis of collected information and lead to the creation of new ideas and concepts. The inquiry cycle includes wondering, finding out the questions in the natural settings, then investigating related to that particular question. It means it is context based. This process is very much specific in nature. Then creating the knowledge on the basis of the investigation, discussing with the among the peer fellow, then deciding, then reflecting on the whole process, reflecting on the solution of that particular problem. The steps in inquiry methods are: the first step is to understand the problem. Next is to make a plan on the basis of the understanding of that particular problem. Next step is carry out the plan and look back and reflect on that problem for the solution of that particular problem. There are 4 types of inquiry: confirmation inquiry, structured inquiry, guided inquiry and open inquiry. These types are based on the learning depending upon the level of structured required for different classrooms. The confirmation inquiry, in this type, students are given a problem and also informed about the process to follow. Their goal is to investigate and develop critical thinking skills, learning how the specific method works. To carry investigations to confirm the understanding or the outcome is known in advance. They have to only follow the steps. The second type is the structured inquiry. Students are given an open question. Here the students are given open question and also an investigation method. The situation is structured. They must use the method to reflect an evidence based conclusions. The students investigate on a question which has been presented by the teacher. The next type is the guided inquiry. Students are in this type, the students are given an open question in groups. They have to design investigation methods to reach a conclusion. Students investigate the question presented by the teacher through students and students design the procedure. The next type is the open inquiry, where time and support are provided to the students by the teacher. They pose original questions that they investigate through their own methods and eventually present their result to discuss and expand. Student investigate topics related question that are student formulated and designed. That's why it is called open inquiry. Inquiry based learning aims to develop students' abilities to explore, analyze, synthesize and evaluate information which are the result of higher level thinking. There are many benefits of inquiry process. A few are: process begins by asking questions. Raising questions develops curiosity. The whole method is connected. It develops stronger relationships. It improves the skills and increases the confidence level of the students and also promotes a deeper understanding of content. It provides positive effect on students' attitudes and the most important, that students learn how to continue learning in future. Some of the teacher support for inquiry activities. What teacher should do? They should generate interest among the students to inquire, determine pupils' prior knowledge and understanding, what they know, how much they understand, divide students in groups, prompt pupils to create concept maps and elicit ideas. Prompting is very important. Provide time to think the problem, make them curious about that problem. Also describe the problem in their own words. They motivate the students to define the problem. They encourage the students to explore the problem and collect the evidences. Also discuss among the peer group, conclude and then share or reflect. So, all these are the responsibility of the teacher for inquiry activities to support the student. This whole approach is based on asking questions. Students learn better when they are involved in learning process. So, there are generally 5 types of questions which is used in inquiry based learning: inference questions, interpretation questions, transfer questions, questions about hypothesis and reflective questions. Inference question, it is asked students to go beyond the immediately available information. What information is being given is not sufficient. The students are inspired and encouraged to think beyond that. Interpretation questions are to ask the students to predict what consequences may occur as a result of a given scenario. What will happen if ask the students to combine their past knowledge of situation and new factual information to construct the knowledge, the new information. Transfer question, it is related to take their knowledge and apply the new knowledge, that particular skill in a new situation, and also to ask the students to expand their thinking. Questions about hypothesis, that is to ask questions to predict outcome and carry out tests to discover new knowledge. And the last type is the reflective question, that is to look again at the beliefs they have and the evidence that support them, and to lead students back into the investigation, asking questions to re-investigate or to investigate new further knowledge. There is a very famous quote according to Lana Potter that inquiry based learning doesn't demand a right answer, it asks for an explanation. Very good, because explanation means the process, how they understand that particular problem. The cycle of this approach is, it contains 5E, that is engage, explore, explain, elaborates and evaluate. Engaging the student is the introductory stage where the teacher captures the student interest, and it may be through demonstration, reading aloud, assessing prior knowledge, questioning. The next is the explore, during which the students are motivated for cooperative activities in a collaborative environment to explore the topic and to develop a common set of concrete knowledge. During explanation, students develop their own explanations and listen to each other's explanations also. Here, the teacher clarifies the concepts, introduces the principles and may correct the misconceptions if any. Then the next is the elaboration. Students carry out further activities to deepen their knowledge and skill, answer new questions or confront misconceptions. They elaborate the knowledge what they have gained. And the last one is the evaluation. The teacher evaluates students' learning of concepts or skills. Evaluation may lead to a new cycle of learning to expand more or to correct the concepts or to know beyond that material what is there, how it happens. So, the inquiry cycle is, it is about the turning in for any inquiry, for any problem, then finding out, then sorting out among the evidences, going further, making conclusion, then taking action. So, it is a cyclic process that is called inquiry cycle. Now, for an example, in a inquiry approach, boiling of potatoes at high altitude. So, this is the topic that is given to the students to find out why potato takes more time to boil at high altitude. So, the first step is the understanding the problem. The students were encouraged to understand what happens when potato boils. What happens when it boils in a vessel and when it is boiled in pressure cooker. What is the principle of pressure cooker? After understanding the concept, they can be encouraged to make a plan about that particular problem. They can be asked to find out what happens at high places. What happens to the boiling of water at high places? After searching the evidences, collecting the evidences, they can make a plan to find out the answer or the solution of the problem. After searching the evidences, they may find that water boils at lower temperature at high altitude. So further adding, they can explain after exploration and collecting the evidences after discussion, they can conclude that in a mountain there is less atmospheric pressure pushing down on the surface of water. Therefore, when heat is added, it is easier for liquid water molecules to escape or to boil. So, at high altitude, the water boils at low temperature. They will further search and find out about the altitude chart for boiling water processing. What is the relationship between the height, between the altitude and boiling of water? And after finding out the solution, searching, exploration, after discussion, they will carry out the plan and try to found out the answer of that particular question. And after doing all these activities, they may say that at high altitude there is low pressure and there is a significant role of pressure in boiling of potatoes. After carry out the plan, they will reflect, look back and reflect on the evidences, on the discussions, on the basis of explanations. They will reflect that why it takes more time to boil potato at high altitude. And ultimately, they will conclude that there is relationship between the pressure and temperature. Dear friends, to summarize, science is gaining knowledge in a systematic manner. Inquiry is an approach of learning in science. In inquiry approach, the students are involved for learning process. They are inspired to develop curiosity about the natural world. There are different kinds of inquiry approach depending upon the level of structure. The inquiry cycle includes engaging of the students, exploration of the problem, explanation of the problem, evaluation of the evidences and finding a conclusion, then to reflect on that conclusion. In science, teachers must use this inquiry approach to encourage their students and provide opportunities for the students to investigate, to explore, to explain, to discuss, to collaborate, to evaluate, and also to reflect. In this approach, process is more important than the product, the answer. How the students have involved is more important. I hope through this discussion you will be able to inquire, ask question to the students in an effective manner and also will provide opportunities to the students to investigate and learn themselves in a natural settings and develop a positive attitude and confidence among the students. Thank you.